Hi, my name's Sam Marcotte, and over the past year, for my purpose scenario, I've been working on building a gaming PC myself and learning a lot about them. Today, I'm going to be explaining how they work, what each component is, and how they all work together to make the computer very fast and efficient. The first component I'm going to be talking about today is the computer case. You can think about it as the skeleton of the PC. Do you want strong bones or weak bones? Most likely you want strong bones so you can keep everything nice and safe and strong inside, right? Well, a PC case is the same way. You want to be able to protect your components inside, but that's not all a PC case is going for. There are a lot more factors that are involved in choosing a case, like the size, how your components fit, airflow so your PC doesn't overheat, and even how you want it to look. The next component I'm going to be explaining today is the power supply. In my current PC, the power supply is located right here under the deck of my case. It can be different in different cases, but this is mine currently. The power supply is one of the more simple components. The only thing it does is transfer power in moderation through different cords to all the different components. There's a power supply cord here, here, up here, and all the way down here. The next component on the list is the motherboard. The motherboard is located right in the center of the case, and some people call it the backbone of the PC because almost everything plugs into it. That includes the GPU, which is this thing right here, the RAM, which is these red things up here, the CPU cooler, which is this fan, and underneath that is the CPU. The motherboard is so important because it transfers different data and lets all of the parts communicate with each other so the PC can be more efficient and fast. Here is one of two storage devices in our computer. This is called the internal hard drive. All it's used for is to store files, photos, games, stuff like that. It's located inside the PC, behind the back panel. Through these cables right here, it is connected to the motherboard so you can access it anytime you want. Our next and final type of memory is called random access memory, also known as RAM. It's these two red things right here. And what RAM allows you to do is access things that you need right now or a few moments ahead. So instead of storing everything that you've ever done on your internal hard drive and keeping it forever, it gets rid of it as soon as you don't need it anymore, so it doesn't take up storage. Next, I'm going to be talking about the most important part of the computer. This is called the CPU, or the Central Processing Unit. It's located right on top of the motherboard behind this fan. This fan is actually to cool it so it doesn't overheat. But what the CPU does is, it is like the brain of the computer. It interprets certain programs on your computer and tells it what to do in the next couple seconds. This part is very important, and if you don't have the correct one for your computer, it isn't going to work properly. The last component I will be explaining today is the graphics card, or GPU. The GPU is located on the motherboard plugged into it. It is this whole card right here. So graphics cards aren't exactly necessary for a normal computer if you're doing everyday tasks like work, homework, typing, stuff like that. But if you're planning to play games on your computer, you're going to need a graphics card. This is because games are too CPU heavy and they take too much power from your CPU, and sometimes it can't handle it. So GPU is basically like a boost to your CPU. All it does is it accelerates the rendering, images, and animations, so you're not relying on your CPU to do all the work. Thank you for listening to my 8th grade presentation about gaming computers. I hope you walked away today with something you found interesting or didn't know.